Hello, my lovely Taurus, and a very warm welcome to your 2022-23 horoscope forecast. It's an intense year. How could it not be, with the fact that Pluto will return to the place where it was born, so to speak, 247 years ago, when the United States, as it is today, was created. So it's the Pluto return of the United States. The United States holds a lot of power in this world. And it's going to go through an immense transformation this year. And whatever happens in the United States affects the entire world. It's inevitable. They hold at the moment, the reserve currency of the world is the US dollar. And as you can see, there are huge changes taking place in economies around the world. And we start off with your ruler, Taurus, Venus. Venus is retrograde, already went retrograde last year and will be retrograde in your 9th house until the end of January. So when Venus is retrograde, and we start the year with this retrograde, so there's a sense to which, as humankind as a whole and personally, we need to reevaluate what are we doing with money and what are we doing with love. Are we using money in a loving and a kind way? Are we being greedy and keeping everything for ourselves? Are we sharing? Are we doing work that we love? And am I expressing love? Are you expressing love in what you do? I hope that you feel the love in the transmission of my videos, because I love what I do. I love sharing this with you. Are you loving sharing what you share? And this 9th house Venus retrograde is an opportunity for you to reevaluate your relationships. You're probably already doing that. It's also an opportunity to reevaluate your spiritual journey, your spiritual life. And also to reevaluate, what would you like to study? What would you like to learn? To reflect on these things. And by the end of January, to begin to take actions. During January, if you take action, it's all right, but just know that you may change your mind or have a different perspective by the time February comes. So give yourself flexibility. Now, on April the 30th, we've got a solar eclipse happening in your sign, your 1st house. And the eclipses this year, lovely Taureans, are going to be affecting you and your relationships. That's where they're going back and forth and back and forth. So April 30th, a new moon solar eclipse in your sign. Wow, this is the energy of new beginnings, new life, new possibilities. You might be going through yet another reinvention of self, of how you present yourself, of how you see yourself. You may be renewing your relationship with yourself and in turn with others, with your intimate partner if you have one, with your friends, with business relationships. There's a lot of changes and new doors opening for you. Now, very important transition is on May the 11th, when Jupiter is going to change sign and it goes into Aries, where it will stay until October 29th. So this is a period when Jupiter is the planet of good fortune, of growth, of abundance, of wisdom. And when it's in the 12th house, this often brings you tremendous help from unseen forces. It's like your angels and your guides are out in the millions and the billions. You're just being guided. And if you just listen to your intuition and you open up to working more with your gut and your intuition and your heart energy, and you may well, with Jupiter there, really explore your ability as a healer, as a teacher, as a metaphysician, as a mystic, as a guide. You might get deeper into astrology and crystals and past lives and all of that. That's certainly possible. So this just opens up a whole new world that you hadn't been aware of before. And it's a wonderful time for digging and going to places that you've not been to before. So it stays here until the end of October. On May the 16th, we've got a lunar eclipse happening in this 7th house. So we had the solar eclipse April 30th, and May the 16th, we get the lunar eclipse. So this is shining a light on your relationships. You've made a lot of changes. You've transformed a lot. Now, how does that play out into your relationships? It may be that a certain relationship needs to end, or it needs to transform and renew itself. It's an opportunity for you to see your relationships from a very different perspective and to change possibly some destructive behavior patterns into positive consciousness in your relationships. And it's a real opportunity for opening up new possibilities in this area, for romance, for love, for marriage. Between September and November, we've got, again, Saturn and Uranus coming very, very close. It's been going on all of last year, this last year, and into this year. So we're seeing the collapse of certain systems. We're seeing people going for freedom. For you, it's the 10th to the 1st house. So this is about you being authentic, not caring a tinker's cuss about what other people think anymore, and speaking and doing what is important to you. That's going to be the key. You may be restructuring your career, your work, but it's got to be in alignment with your new values and the new you. On the 25th of October, we get a solar eclipse in this 7th house. So we've had the lunar eclipse, things coming to light, you're making changes in relationships. Then we get the solar eclipse with new beginnings, a new relationship, a new energy to an existing relationship. And this can be business and personal. On October the 29th, and this is where Jupiter goes back briefly until the 21st of December, into this 11th house, offering you an opportunity to look at your social circles, to expand out a bit more, to connect with new groups, new communities, joint purposes, collaborations, teamwork, going for joint dreams together. Very important is on October the 31st, we have got Mars going retrograde until January 13th of the next year. So Mars retro. Mars likes to go forwards, doesn't like to go backwards. So from October the 31st, it's going backwards until 2.5 months, effectively. And it's in your 2nd house. So this is an opportunity to reflect, to think about your finances, to reconsider your talents, your gifts, how you like to use them, and also to reflect on your values. What's important to you? What brings value into your world? What makes you feel good? And here with Mars, almost like we go into this following year in a state of suspension, almost like a state of suspended animation. It's like, it's not a time for action. It's a time for contemplation. It's a time for silence. It's a time to receive messages and only to act once you're really sure and clear that you're being guided, and to feel connected with your intuition and your inner voice. That's going to get stronger. On November the 8th, we've got a lunar eclipse happening again in your sign. So this is bringing to light more things that you may need to change, that you may want to change, and you grow further, you ascend further, higher, more. You're able to take more in. You've learned so much. And then on December the 21st, this is when Jupiter once again brings you all this good fortune from unseen hands, synchronicities, things just falling into place. So it's a really powerful year. You're going to be stretching, growing. It's very much about you in the focus and your relationships. And you're going to have an opportunity to make wonderful, positive transformations in this area, particularly. So lovely Taurus, I thank you so much for listening. Thank you for liking this video, commenting, sharing, and subbing. Bye for now.